So, continuing the conversation about, well, walking barefoot and balance and how the physical characteristics that make up, say, a successful hunter in a hunter-gatherer context. I think those characteristics that we might be tempted to say are just a personality trait, I think actually have physical underpinnings, and that it can be a really helpful way to approach making improvements in areas that are going to be valuable to you. So, in this case, I'll talk about fear and how the physical skill of balance plays into that. So, fear in this case would be a physiological response to a perceived threat, something that your body is subconsciously picking up on as, hey, there's a problem here and I don't feel safe, right? And balance is one of these really critical foundational things where, when you were learning to walk, let's say, when you were a baby, that balance was incredibly important. You did not get to graduate to walking until you achieved a certain amount of balance. And later in adulthood, let's say in that hunter-gatherer context, this kind of mythical paleo version, balance meant that you could execute these very sensitive physical tasks like hunting or getting away from a predator or something like that, and not die. Like, you would be able to successfully do that, because if you had poor balance, you would be tripping over things and making a lot of noise, and all around just not being a very successful hunter-gatherer. And what I've noticed, and this is with the help of cannabis, because it helps bring up the awareness of your bodily sensations, what I've noticed is that there's this kind of a high frequency chatter almost going on in your body when you are not in good balance. It's a nervous energy, and that nervous energy is, it flies under the radar when it's just your default and you're used to it, and it seems normal to you. And then doing something like consuming cannabis will bring up awareness of that nervous chatter, and you'll feel it. And it's like this uneasiness, this anxiety. You actually can identify the physical sensations of anxiety or fear. So I got to doing these barefoot walks, especially in fun contexts. Like, there's a creek right over here, and there's a dry creek bed that I walk through. And that really calls up to the surface all of your balance deficiencies. If you try and walk really carefully and slowly over a complex terrain environment, then you'll see very quickly, like, oh wow, I actually have very poor balance, and my ability to move smoothly and quietly through a natural environment is, maybe not so great. But that's fun and all, and I love that. But it may not be the most accessible. And I was also playing around with balance just on my regular floor in my house, and getting a lot out of it. And instead of giving myself some balance challenge, let's say, I was instead, well, yeah, I was, but it wasn't, I wasn't like trying to stand on one foot or something like that. It was actually just both feet and eyes closed, and really giving myself the time to feel through that experience and be present with it. And I found that what I thought was just normal, the normal way of balancing was actually that nervous energy, that wobbly, unstable energy. And as I progressively relaxed my body to, because I have a general theory here that the tension and unease in your body, it's the opposite of being relaxed, of being calm and confident. And so I did this process of just standing there, eyes closed, and feeling all of the micro movements that my body was needing to do to stay balanced, and just seeing if I could progressively relax my body, just kind of a constant, pruning and letting go, and seeing what shifted, how my body changed and moved as a result of that pruning. I like that phrase. And it's not like I didn't fall over as I was progressively relaxing my body. Instead, that little bit of nervous energy was just gradually going down, and I was getting calmer. The movements went down, all the little micro adjustments calmed, and it was like being bad at balancing is almost all of the effort that you're putting in to try and stay balanced. So the calm, stable, confident balance was hidden underneath layers that were added on top of it. And I think that's a fundamentally different way of viewing something like this, where we have a tendency to want to think, oh, in order to be good at this thing, I need to add this skill on top. And in this case, it seemed like in order to be good at this particular balancing task, I actually needed to remove things that had been added. Because it's not something that you should have to try very hard at. Think about any wild animal. Think about a cat, stalking their prey. They're not trying to have good balance. There's no effort put to it. All of their attention is on what they want, not on themselves. So removing all of these layers of tension and control from my body, I found just gave me a very deep sense of calm, belonging, confidence, stability, things that I want, traits that I want in my life in general, just how I want to be. And so it's like, oh wow, yeah, balance. Fuck, that's really big, and I like how it feels. I like how relaxing, letting go made me calmer and more confident and stable. I love the fact that I would have thought these were psychological traits, and now I'm learning they're physical traits. And my guy brain likes training physical traits. I can enjoy that, and I can take on this role of, oh, I'm training. This is my dojo. I'm going to improve this physical skill, and I can see, intellectually why it's important. I can think back to, being a hunter or a warrior or something, and needing to have that calm stability to be able to, make good decisions and to be able to act from stability instead of acting from this kind of nervous energy this always buzzing, always trying to do something, blah, 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 kind of thing. So try balancing. I've already fucked it up. Don't try balancing. Don't try at all. Make balancing happen without trying. And if you want to test it out, just stand there with your eyes closed and give yourself 10 minutes to just stand there with your eyes closed and progressively relax your body and see how it responds. See how the act of balancing changes, and see how your bodily sensations give you feedback on what's going on. Let it go. Balance by not trying to balance, and see if you take away, as you progressively take away the manual overrides, what happens to the state of your nervous system, and do you feel better? Do you like it? I loved it. I'm totally into it, and it makes me see how in my life my subconscious or unconscious nervousness has set the tone for my decisions and limited the scope of my interaction with life. All right, I'll leave it there because I think I'm getting into deep water here and I might not be able to swim out of it. So, all right, more musings next time.